right, everybody welcome Mike Arce to the stage.
All right, so we all know why we're here, and I just going to ask a few questions if you guys can participate. Who here would love to dramatically increase retention at your company? Awesome. Okay, show of hands, how many of you guys would like to improve lead flow at your company? All right, and if you like to do both with the same moves, go ahead and say yes. Yes. All right, good, because that's all we're going to talk about, so that's really helpful. So we'll start with 42%, and we'll kind of take it from there. And this number represents what our retention rate was about 3 years ago when I was really starting to measure it, and I began measuring it because I just didn't feel any type of forward movement. And 42%, believe it or not, it's not terrible in the industry, but it's bad. It definitely needs to be better. And the way we measured it was really simple. It was basically every single person that we had signed up at our agency had to sign a minimum 3-month agreement. And we measured what percentage of people opted in for that 4th optional month. And only 42% of people actually said, yeah, let's keep going. And that was really weak, right? We knew we had to do something because 6 out of 10 people leaving was not good, and we were adding about 8 new clients per month. 8 new clients per month, and you're losing people, you eventually get to the point where you're just kind of standing still. Can you guys feel me on that? You can't outsell your attrition. You eventually get there if you can't fix it. 92% is where we moved up to. 92% is a much better number as regards to how many people now opt in for that 4th optional month. But did it go back? There we go. But what's even better is that we are adding a minimum of 24 new clients on a monthly basis with a record of 58 clients in a month. So that's really exciting because now we totally started moving forward. Can you guys do the math and see how that would work? Yep. How many of you guys would like to start figuring out how I pretty much double that? Because that's what we're going to be talking about now. Yep. All right, great. So how? So the feeling, how many of you guys would say that the reason you came up with an idea or a strategy was because you were just sick and tired of something being the same way? Like the pain of staying the same was greater than the pain of change, right? You guys been there? That's kind of what it was like for me. And anybody that's, from the East Coast or where it snows, you know the feeling of having to shovel the snow while it's still snowing, and you just feel deflated because like you get here and then you go, all right, and you look back and you just keep going, and that's just kind of what it felt like. I was working, but I wasn't getting anywhere. And that's not great for me, it's not great for our employees, and because we're not making the profits that we need, it's not great for our clients either because we're not able to continue to advance as an agency and offer things that they can actually use and get saved and helped and all the stuff that we needed to do. So we decided, let's make a list. Let's really figure out what's going on. Let's break down our clients. Let's understand the anatomy of our roster and what we've got so we can really see what we need to fix, what we need to keep, and what we need to add, right? And so we broke it up into 3 different lines. We said needs improvement, good, and great. Let's look at the clients that they need improvement. The way we define that is these are people that we are pretty certain that they're going to cancel by that 4th month. They're not getting the results that they need, or they are getting leads, but they're not converting them. They don't know how to get them to become sales or members, and they're just not getting the return on investment that makes them feel confident in continuing. That was what defined that group. Then there was good. Good was people that they're meeting expectations. I don't see them necessarily quitting, but they're not case study good. Meaning, I'm not going to write about what their results are and then advertise that to go attract new clients because I don't think it's a good enough story. Meeting expectations, but we're not blowing it away. Does that make sense? And the third option is great. Anybody defined in this category, we better get a testimonial video if we haven't already. We better be asking for referrals, create case studies, use that in our marketing, our stories, all that stuff because they define what's possible when things are done right. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay, great. So we broke that down, we fill out the list. Now, these are not all real studios for the sake of confidentiality, so I put some fake studios up there. Some of those you may like Marcus Murphy Muscles, Billie Jean Jazzercise, and just some random studios. I think Vince Reed, you're here, you got one. Vince Reed Ripped Fitness, you see it? There we go. I love working out there, my man. So we had to look at these groups and say, what makes them them? What is it about the needs improvement people that they all have in common? What is it about the goods, the greats? What's the common denominators in all these characters so that we can really start figuring out how we can keep streamlining the good things and how we can fix things that need improvement. And so we came up with the things that are easy to identify, the things that most marketers kind of start with, right, which is locations. We knew right off the bat, man, certain markets like Colorado, we just don't do well in Colorado. Sometimes it does okay, but not like Austin. Austin, we crush it for people in Austin. We crush it for people in like San Jose. So we knew what markets were generally good, what markets were not generally good. So that was actually kind of cool to catch that pattern. We also learned stuff like type of fitness. You know, there's so many different types of fitness out there between Pilates, yoga, spin, bar, TRX, CrossFit, HIIT, you name it. And so we were able to start learning like, wow, we do really, really well with these guys, and we don't do so well with these guys. And so now we were able to start identifying that as well. And then reputation. This is another one that surprised my team and I. We really look for people that had really good reviews. 3.8 star or better is what we look for versus something low. And it all made sense, right? How many of you guys have dealt with jerks? Clients are just like, they know it all, they're better than you. Everything around them needs to change, right? Well, that kind of defined them, right? So the way we looked at it is, man, if they have bad reviews, that kind of is a key indicator that if they can't treat their customers right, how are they going to treat their vendors? Right? How are they going to treat us? If they can't treat your customers right, how are you going to treat us? So that was something we looked for as well. Okay, so that wasn't really enough though, because when we looked at those three things, yes, we were able to identify the location, the type of fitness, and the reputation, but there was still a lot of cloudiness. There was still like, okay, well, some of those people are still here and here. So then we found three more categories, and these are the categories that helped us really identify our buyer persona, or customer avatar, whatever you really wanted to call it, right? And it starts out with three different types of guys. Number one, the biz guy. This is the business guy. This is the guy that he's actually a businessman. He's not even a fitness guy. He just understands business. He studies it. He loves learning about it. He reads. He may have another business. Maybe he's a franchise guy. This guy could have opened up a fitness studio like an Orange Theory, but he could have also opened up a yogurt shop. He could have also opened up an ice cream store, a coffee shop, a restaurant. He would have done fine in many things because he understands the general concept of business and how things should be done. So I take those Shark Tank guys and Marcus Lemonis. Those guys don't need to know what this company is or does as far as like on a service base. I know business, and so you got that 10%, I got the 90. Together we'll be able to make this work well. You guys get that? So these guys here, they understand it, they get it, and then they hire a team to be able to do the stuff that he doesn't really get that much, and then he develops a company that way. These guys are really great. Then there was the exact opposite, the fitness guy. This is a guy that's never studied fitness. He was maybe a personal trainer or a fitness instructor at another company, and he was doing really well, and maybe he started doing math in his head. And he's like, man, members are getting charged this much, I'm only making this much. Man, the company must be killing it. They're really taking advantage of me, or maybe they just had a vision and a dream to go do it themselves, whatever it was. But once they get out and start a business, we realized they weren't really being taken advantage because they didn't account like the cost of rent and payroll taxes and insurances and software and payroll and all that stuff, right? So little by little, they start putting it together. But the point is, these guys come in not really understanding business. They really only understand like fitness and nutrition and health and all that stuff. And these guys are difficult to work with, okay? How many of you guys have a niche in this room? Okay, how many of you guys already can identify these two guys? Okay, so you guys get it, right? You have them in whatever industry, you've got them. And then there's the third guy, the GSD guy. I call him the GSD guy because I feel like that was me. The GSD guy is a guy that was the second guy, the fitness guy, right, or the craft guy. He didn't really get trained or educated in business, but he's willing to do whatever it takes to learn. He is an open book, he's coachable, and he basically says stuff like, look guys, you guys are the pro, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. That's that guy. How many of you guys have guys like that in your roster? You know those people, right? Vince, I hope I'm that guy for you. Yes? Vince is my coach for one of my stuff. Okay, so these guys we really like too because that guy can become the biz guy, right? So we're like, okay, these are the three guys. Now, I'll take a quick tangent here. Business is proven to have a 100% success rate, meaning if you start a business, it's guaranteed you will be 100% successful, according to people on Instagram. But here's the actual data. The actual data, less than 4% of businesses ever reach $1 million in annual revenue. 20% of businesses fail within their first year, 50% fail by their 5th year, and 70% fail by their 10th year. It's a lot of people that are not making it in their business. The people that hire us, now we have to think about that, right? As agencies, the people that hire us are statistically expected to fail eventually. And it's not because they were short a good Facebook ad campaign, right? There's other things that are holding them back. When you open up, how many of you guys here, when you started your business, you realized that there was a world of things that you needed to learn, and it was much more than you expected, right? There was more books on more topics, and you had to be at least decent in most of these areas, and pretty damn good in at least a couple, right? And so there was things that our customers were struggling with outside of our advertising, such as they didn't know how to recruit or hire or fire or develop or train people, how to sell. They didn't know how to document their processes, how to get their brand out in the public, how to retain their members, how to get referrals, testimonials, reviews. They didn't know how to measure the results of their company, how things set and hit goals. They didn't know how to network or that they needed to network. They didn't know how to develop partnerships or that they needed to develop partnerships. They didn't know how to improve their product or that they continuously have to develop their product and make it better ongoing, because if they don't, what will the competition do? They'll do it. They'll blow them right by. And then the number one reason why businesses go out of business is because they have cash flow issues. They don't know how to manage their money. They eventually end up spending more than they make. And that's the number one reason. So we had to look at these three guys and really understand, like, what's the language? How are they communicating with us so that we can start catching these things? And it was pretty simple. The business guys, the people that truly studied business and they appreciated the laws of business, they would say phrases like, Mike, the leads are great, keep them coming. How can I spend more? What else can we do? How many of you guys have clients like that in your roster? It's awesome, right? Those guys are just a breath of fresh air. You're like, oh my God, we could do so much with you. And then you get the fitness guys, right, that are not business savvy, or they don't want to be, or they don't want to read, and they don't want to learn. And they say, the leads are crap. Dude, if this doesn't get fixed, I'm going with someone else. Same guy. The guy next door is the business guy crushing it, right? It's the same leads, everything's the same, but it's just all of a sudden the definitions, the perception. And then the GSD guys, hey man, I'm not really converting these leads as well as I think I can. What can I do to convert a little better? How can I work these better? What are your best clients doing? Right? And they're just, they're hungry, they're starving for the information because they want so badly to be a great business owner. And these are fantastic guys to help. These guys actually are the ones that give me the most energy, which is great. So initially, what made the most sense when we discovered these three types of people was, well, let's just get rid of these guys. That makes sense? Let's just stop working with the fitness guys. Well, here's the problem with that. Yes, it did align with some of the advice I got from books and even some coaches and mentors and colleagues. Yeah, it made sense. But the problem was it didn't align with our mission. So the name of my company is Loud Rumor, and our job is to help fitness studios from all over the world to dramatically improve their lives, grow their business, and help them be successful more than they could have ever dreamed. And there's not an asterisk next to that mission that says, except for people that haven't studied business. Right? That's not the mission. That's the mission if I'm self-serving. That's the way I felt. And maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but that's the way I felt, and so I didn't feel right. So here's what we did. We started with these three steps, the three moves that I talked about in the beginning. We're now going to dive into those three moves. Is that okay? Yes? Okay. You guys with me so far? Okay, great. So step one was we built really great relationships with our top clients. This is actually one of our top clients. His name is Daniel Neary. Daniel is an actual business guy, but he was a GSD guy. He started out as a GSD guy. Retired hockey player, had to retire really early due to an injury, and didn't know English 7 years ago. Moved to this country 5 years ago, learned English 5 years ago, 7 years ago. 5 years ago, moved to this country, started this company, and when I met him, I think he had like maybe one location, maybe thinking about opening up a second. Now he's opening up his 8th, the last 3 in New York. This guy has been on a Netflix documentary with Arnold Schwarzenegger. This guy has written a best-selling fitness book. This guy has, that's the coolest thing, he's literally in talks with NASA right now, negotiating a deal so his program can help their astronauts colonize Mars. That's a GSD guy. Would you guys agree? This guy just gets it. So We really wanted to develop relationships with people like him and people like Oscar and people like Sean and people like Brittany. And I'm saying these names because we're actually streaming in my private Facebook group, and I want them to know I'm acknowledging them in here because there's more than that, guys. There's a bunch of you. But we knew who these people were, and I wanted to spend more time with them. So the names that I just called out, we have each other's cell phone numbers. We've seen each other. I bought Joanne a vacation for her and her husband to go take their very first vacation because they never took one, and they've been, married for 20 years. And with Brittany, I get on a call with her, and I was at a barber getting my haircut, and she's like, "Mike, I'm in trouble. I need some help." And I was like, "Yeah." I told the barber, "Hang on," and we went to go take the call and help her. And so, these are people to me. I really want them to be like my best friends, because these are the people that can help my company the most, and I also believe that these are the people that I can help the most. And to me, that sounds like a best friend. Would you agree? Would you say that a good definition of a best friend is somebody that will help you the most if you need it, and somebody that you'll help the most if you need it? It's a pretty good definition of a best friend. Okay, well then that's what I need to do, right? I need to become best friends with our top clients. And by doing that, we were able to learn things, and that's what we did. We learned, and here's some of the things that we wanted to learn. Well, first, we wanted to visit their businesses. I've been to Daniel's spot. I've been to a lot of these fitness studio owners that have named spots, and I wanted to see how. But what's really cool is it's not just how they run it, it's how they articulate their studio. You start buying in to them and their story because, like Daniel, when he was showing me around, the level of detail that he explained things like the bathrooms, you could tell he put a lot of thought into how the bathroom looked. He cared that much. And so when you see that, you care if things aren't working well for him. Because if he cares that much about the bathroom, right, how much does he care about the customers and everything else he's been working on, right? And so you start seeing how him and his team interact and what he cares about. You start developing a different level of empathy, and you work harder to be better for guys like this. We also interviewed a lot of people. I sat down and just asked them a ton of questions. I want to know everything about these guys, as much as I can. We documented what works. Cool thing is, when you start really spending time with a lot of these people, you start catching patterns of what all of them are doing that's working and what all of them are doing, and then they stop doing because it doesn't work, and their mentality and their mindset of when to switch and when to stick is pretty cool. And then also, we then got them to start leading our community. See, the thing is, these guys helped us make the people that needed help better. And we'll talk a little bit about that here at level 3. And then the last thing is built real friendships. How many of you guys could use more real, meaningful friends in your life? Yeah, that's really cool. I'm going to Daniel's wedding in May, right? That's pretty cool. I was invited to a wedding by my client, right? It's more than just the exchange. We are here to take care of each other. We know why we're here, right? Care is really there. So step 2. Once we had step 1 done, let's create resources and establish a reputation of helping and authority. It was important to me that if I cared this much, they had to know how much I cared. I had to be able to demonstrate that to them, and they also had to know how much I can help. That was super important as well. And so, yeah, we got our agency, Loud Rumor, so then we started Loud Rumor Virtual Training. And this is where we really were able to take it to the next level, and I would say this is the biggest part of what was able to take us to a better retention rate. It was at the time called Learning Center, and now it's called Loud Rumor Virtual Training, okay? So remember all these things we talked about? All the other things that could be holding them back from being successful? Well, it'd be a shame if they cancel a good Facebook ad campaign that's working, could actually grow with them, because they can't afford it, because they couldn't hire the right people, or some other bottleneck got in the way, right? So Daniel is an example of a guy that was able to help contribute to that, as well as other people. And we're constantly bringing in people to help us contribute to this center so that fitness studio owners like Daniel, when he was not the GSD guy, when he's a fitness guy, are able to actually get helped. And so this is what our virtual training actually looks like. They log in, they can head to the training center. As soon as they get there, there's all different categories, such as sales training, retention training, offers and pricing, all the stuff that we talked about, right? And we bring in people, our best clients that really know and have these things nailed down, as well as some of these things are just static in business in general, right? Like core values, I don't need to find out the core values and how to create them from another fitness studio guy. I know how to, that works in every business. But for some of the things on hey, what type of offers work best? We're able to actually get that contribution from other studio owners. And here's the cool thing, they listen to them better than they listen to anybody else. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So once you open up, like this is the sales training, you'll see all the different categories of sales, like the fortunes in a follow-up, how to answer your phone, 3 questions leads ask themselves, your actual closing rate, the cost of not closing, all these things that eventually come up as to why they're not getting the conversion rates. We were able to create content and videos for them and organize it in a way to where they can learn it. And we do simple videos. That's in my house. That's in a room in my house. And so I just shoot these videos here, but you can also shoot them in your office, and we also have other people that can contribute to these courses as well. If any of you guys follow Billy Jean, you know he does that, where he brings in experts to do the same thing. And then at the end of every video, all of them are about 2 to 7 minutes long, they need to take a quiz to move on, to make sure that they understand the information. That was important. I want to make sure they understand it. And if they get it wrong, if they don't pass the quiz, they have to go back and retake it. If they fail it a second time, they have to rewatch the video before they can have 2 more swings. And that's the way it works. Now, that's not just great for the studio owner, but who else do you think it's great for? Who do you think else gets value at that company other than the studio owner? Their employees. Because what's one thing that a studio owner or a business owner might say they don't have time to do effectively? Train their people. But what's one thing that you think would immediately help the company work better? Training your people. Hey, let's get your team ramped up, right? So now we were able to create these categories for sales, marketing, PR, retention, HR, recruiting, financials, all that stuff, and even advertising, which was a little counterintuitive, right? Teaching them how to do what you're paying me to do. Does that sound like counterintuitive stuff? Like, why would I want to show you guys? Well, here's what we learned. The less ideal clients, well, they would probably leave eventually anyway, right? Might as well have something for them where it's a small monthly fee where they can keep having access to all that stuff. But the most ideal clients would still want it done for them because their mindset's like, dude, I would have to hire somebody to do it anyway. I'd rather you do it. You know what you're doing. I don't know who I'm going to hire for this, and I don't want to do it because I need to be running my business. So here's some surprisingly annoying news, though, that came with this, and you guys would catch this if you don't prepare. Well, you got these 3 guys. The GSD guy dug it. He binge-watched. Like a Netflix addict, he binge-watches all of our stuff. He just goes through video after video after video after video, and he brags about it the next day. I went through everything, right? And then the biz guy loves it too. He doesn't binge-watch. He'll go through a few here and there, but he gets his team to get on a structure that we're watching videos every day. And then they're taking quizzes, and there's like a syllabus for them. This guy didn't watch any of the videos. So the main guy that we wanted to help and create this stuff for wasn't actually even logging in. What kind of stuff do you think he was saying? Say it loud. I already know this. Too much. Not worth it. Oh, this isn't what we do. We've been doing it this way for years. All the things, all the phrases that are business killers. Would you guys agree? Those are business killers, those phrases. And so we were like, man, if these guys aren't getting it, then we're doing something wrong. We need to do something different. Here's what we realized. New entrepreneurs are like teenagers. You guys have been all teenagers before. Raise your hand if at 18 you knew everything. Everything, right? And it's funny, the less you know, the more you believe you know. The more you know, the more you realize you don't know. So teenagers know everything. How many of you guys knew more than your parents when you were 18, according to you? How many of you guys now understand that your parents actually knew more than you gave them credit for? How many of you now are parents and relate and empathize and almost wish you could go back in time and be like, Mom, I'm sorry. I was such an asshole. So new entrepreneurs can be like that because they don't know just like teenagers don't know. It doesn't make teenagers bad. They don't know, right? And so new entrepreneurs are the same way. They just don't know. So it's like, all right, now I had to figure out what makes a teenager motivated. What makes a teen, because obviously there's good teenagers that are motivated and they're ambitious, and then there's teenagers that are just kind of like, you know, whatever. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. We just like the clients. And so what motivates a teenager? Who is it that influences them? The cool kids. That's really what it came down to, right? You got a haircut in high school because you saw that haircut on a cool kid. You got those clothes because it looked cool on one of the cool kids. You want to hang out with the guy that gets all the girls or the girl that's gawked at by all the guys, right? You want to make sure you hang out with the basketball players or the football players, like whatever it is, the people that know how to dance. Would you guys agree like those were in high school defined as the cool kids? Yes? Yes, okay. Would you agree that those people influence the behavior of many other students that weren't as cool as them? Yes? Okay, so who are the cool kids? Who are the cool kids to my needs improvement clients so I can influence them? Well, that was simple. The successful studio owners that are crushing it and getting all the publicity. All the people that they're looking at, that they follow, that they wish they were like, right? So we got after them. We said, I'm going to start interviewing people like Najla. Everyone in Scottsdale knew Najla. She was like a little icon in the fitness space. Everyone knew who she was. The Orange Theory. These girls here own many Orange Theories throughout the country. Liberty, who literally went from like 3 locations to like 60 in a matter of a year or so. And then Daniel Neary, I talked about him. Tom Hatton, who literally has 84,000 paying members, wrote a best-selling book and is just living life, right? So these are the cool kids to my clients. Would you guys agree? Okay, so I had to interview them, which is what you see me doing. But it didn't just end at the interview. This is super important, guys. If you guys can do this, you're going to be able to shift the mindset of some of the people that really could need it, okay? When you interview the cool kids, the successful guys, it's not just about getting the information. It's about asking a few simple questions that revolve around this topic. So Adam, if you're the guy, I'm going to say, so Adam, you got 84,000 paying members. Your business is doing over $50 million in revenue. Clearly, you're crushing it. Is that it? Is it over? Nothing left to learn? Just wake up and do whatever you want to do, or learning over for you? What do you think every person I asked that question to in this bucket said? No. Tom goes, you kidding? I read more now than ever. I read every day. I watch courses. I hire coaches. I go to events. I go to seminars. No, man, I realized I was stubborn for not doing this when I was younger. So now what happened is I was able to define what the cool kids do. The haircuts or whatever that was back then, now it's they read books, they listen to podcasts, they do this. I was able to define what the cool kids do. And now this fitness guy who wants to be like the cool kids all of a sudden became a student. Because we made learning cool, right? Something the cool kids are actually doing. And now this guy's burning through podcasts, and he's messaging us, dude, I went through like 12 of your podcasts yesterday. That's amazing, because how many of you guys did go a period where you never read, and then once you started reading, got value, you went binging and just started reading everything or listening to podcasts because you found it, you got it, something clicked, right? So we wanted to create that, and we were able to do that. So then I got addicted. Because now I was helping, and it was a good feeling, this cycle. So now I'm creating random videos like this. Guys, you can create this simple stuff, right? And I sucked in the beginning. If you guys ever want, just message me at Mike RC, or Instagram is at Mike RC Live. Message me, and I'll send you a link to one of my first videos so you can see how bad it actually was. It was bad. So, but creating videos like this, when I would go in to go meet with my clients, like I told you I would bring my video person with me, or I'd set up a tripod and I'd video it, and then I'd actually take clips and I would share that because I knew it would be helpful. Now these guys wanted to learn. I'd take out my iPad, I'd plug it into my laptop, and I'd just go ahead and whiteboard stuff out sometimes when I'm randomly on the go. Like here I was in a hotel. Then I started amping it up and had a green screen. I painted a wall green, and we would just shoot videos like that, which was really cool. And then I wrote a booklet. This is a cool idea. How many of you guys know Grant Cardone? Yep. He's got this millionaire booklet, if any of you guys have ever like seen it or read it. But I got a chance to spend time with Grant, and we were in Florida, and he said, Mike, you need to write one of these booklets. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, dude, this is one of the coolest things I've ever done. You need to write one of these booklets. And the first thing I thought is, I'm not a writer. I don't want to write. That sounds like a nightmare. And he goes, this took me a day. It took me less than a day to write, and it takes less than an hour to read. It's super simple, but it's amazingly valuable. And he gave me a strategy. And so I actually created this booklet. I started at 9:30 in the morning. I was done by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. There were some edits that had to be made by somebody that knew how to do it, but it was done, and we got it out there, and we've gotten a ton of leads from this. The average booklet cost me 91 cents to print. 91 cents to print. It wasn't expensive at all. So when you think about handing those out at conferences, when you're speaking at a conference or you're exhibiting at a conference, people are always thinking, what can I put in a swag bag? Man, nothing is as good as a booklet. You can't compare like hand sanitizer branded with your logo to a booklet that's got this information where you're helping people. It was actually extremely cool the way it worked. And we still get leads from it because in the booklet, we tell people like how to do something or what to do, and then we say, for more information on step-by-step on how to do it, go to, and then we buy a custom domain on GoDaddy, like mikesdecoyeffect.com. And then when they go there, it just takes them to a simple page that has the breakdown, but it's got pixels on it. it, right? And we can stay in front of these right people over and over and over. This is a great idea. If you guys wanted to, I'm giving it's the free plus shipping deal, like in all transparency. If you guys want it, it's fitnessmarketingsecrets.com. I would get it, not because you want to learn how to market the fitness industry, but just so you can kind of see the strategy of how I wrote the book and why it worked the way it did. That's why I brought Grant's book, is so I can see it, and then once I got it, like, it made sense to me. So if you guys want it, you can get it too. So this is a picture of the actual clients. They took and sent a picture saying, hey, they took an hour break to go ahead and read my book together as a team and discuss, which is really cool. There was value in it. So we started creating content like that, and then we started creating little events like GSDCon. And I'm transparent. I tell people, just like I told you now, they're in the group, right? They're in the group. So there's full transparency. And I tell them at my event, here's why we do what we do. I'm learning. This is what I love to do, and then I actually teach it. A lot of the stuff that I teach you guys, I've learned how to test and play with. So now I get to share that with my clients, and the cool thing is with all this content that I'm creating, it not only helped me retain more people because we made our clients better, but we were also able to open up great opportunities outside of our roster, right? So now I was asked to be on podcasts. I was getting asked to speak on stages that I always wanted to speak on. I was asked to write in different people's magazines for fitness industry. I was asked to write a chapter in a book, the best-selling fitness book, which is really cool. So now we had two things happening. Number one, our clients are staying longer. We all want that. And then also new prospects started coming in regularly, which was fantastic, which is how we were able to start nailing both. A bonus benefit that we got is that I was able to also help train my team more effectively because my team has access to that content. So here you'll see our new office, and we've actually got a TV's up, but one of the TVs in the middle is constantly playing our content so they can be trained kind of just throughout the day and hear the stuff that's going on. So you can see that's some of my team right there, and then there's the wall, and then there's the TV, and it just kind of plays there. Pretty cool, right? If you guys are ever in Scottsdale, feel free to come by and say hello. So I know this may seem like a lot of work. Raise your hands if you're like, dude, that sounds like a lot of work. I get it. I 100% get it, and I agree. And like fat loss pills, there are gurus telling you that the work is a waste of time and not necessary. I totally get it. The reason they tell you that is because they know you want to buy that story. That's the story you want. Would you agree people want the quick fix? How many of you guys have clients that want the quick fix and you just wish they'd put in the work? You can't be hypocrites, right? You gotta be willing to put in the work too, because here's the cool thing. Do you think your competitors are gonna be willing to put in this work? No. So if they're not, who has the advantage? The guy that does, right? Right now, there's no competitor that stands close to me. There's a guy that literally charges 40% of what I charge, 60% less than me, and a client with 4 locations said he's never going in, even though that guy gets better conversion rates than I do on ads, apparently. He was beating me in conversion rate by a few percentages. He said, no, I get everything else. I get this, I get all this, and I'm gonna show you what the next thing is. Oh, by the way, the guy that says that usually looks like this. Dude, you don't need to do work, it's just be on the beat. That guy, don't be that guy. And don't listen to that guy, because that guy's just selling you something. He's looking to make himself money passively by helping you buy the dream of passive. The truth is, the work does get easier once you do step number 3. Don't look at this as a lifelong struggle. A year or 2 of committed to putting in this extra stuff, and then once you do that, number 3 kicks in and life gets way easier. Here's number 3, community. Once you really build this community the right way, you guys are gonna be able to get this on your own. How many of you right now have a Facebook group for your clients? Raise your hand. How many of you guys do not? Okay, I don't know about you, but I was so nervous to start a private Facebook group for my clients. I was nervous because I felt like, well, what if they talk to each other? What if all of a sudden they were like, went in cahoots and they started messing each other and they knew each other, and next thing you know, I wake up the next day and I lose 4 clients and 10 clients and they all go to this new competitor and all this. I was so nervous because I thought that would happen, right? Is that scarcity or abundance mindset? Right, and I caught that and I realized I needed to make that change because that's not right. So eventually, once I got it done, man, I wish I did it sooner. So we started our Facebook group where obviously I do talk about the things we have coming up, like our GSDCon event, but check this out. Here's Daniel posting, hey, amazing people, I'm moving to New York for the next 2 months as we expand into New York. I'm already meeting with Oscar from the group and would love to have a group get-together going on if anyone's in the area. And you can see people comment. Now we've got our customers, our best customers, getting together and collaborating, right? This is them. actually there. Oh, by the way, if you look, check this out. When I did this presentation, that happened 7 hours before that presentation was created, when I took that screenshot, right? So pay attention to that. So this is them. They got together months before. He also had them on a podcast. They are direct competitors, but they're learning how to make the pie bigger versus fight over a slice, right? Which is better for both of them. Now, if you look 2 hours before this presentation was done, we had a guy say, does anyone know of a great quality gym apparel supplier, right? That's content, that's information that can make them a better business owner, more successful, that I actually don't have. But look, Heather has it, some client that we've got that's awesome, and she posted, and look, Brittany, who didn't even ask the question, is getting served. Cool, right? Then you've got Vanessa. Has anyone done a referral contest that's been really successful? This is 2 hours, so it's at the same time that the other person posted. And you could see I didn't have to have the information. Look at my comment at the top. I know Glenn Greer and Lewis crush it with referrals, and I tag them. That's all. That was my content for that day. And then here comes Glenn Greer. Boom, with all his suggestions. That's a see more. That's actually a really long paragraph, and he posted like 4 more times. He just kept giving, right? Because he understands the culture of this now. We created that culture. Brittany, gotta love when you do, and look at all the comments, right? 10 hours, 10 hours. Hey, y'all, I've been nerding out on The GOAT Show. That's another podcast I host. If you guys ever watch it, it's a cool podcast. I interview people that are arguably the greatest of all time at what they do. You guys should check it out. Vince has been on the show. Vince is arguably the greatest of all time at running ads, by the way, if you guys need a guy. And then we got this question here. This guy's like, hey, man, I just created a scoreboard. What do you think? Now, this is really cool because if you look at the first comment, Mackenzie's one of our account managers. So now our team's able to jump in. I love that goal board, Dan. He comments and she replies back, it's similar to our goal boards here at Loudermer. We write our goals every day, right? And so she starts talking about it. So now my team's chipping in. I made a platform that's not only easy for my clients to help each other, but for my team to help my clients without me having to do all that all the time. And then I jump in. Now that we've got that relationship, I didn't shave for 2 days, and I was coming back from the gym. It was cold. I had a hoodie on, a beanie, and I just talked to my people, and I said, hey, guys, here's a challenge I got in my business right now, and I'm going to go ahead and get this done. I challenge any one of you guys to match me, and for you guys, that's 200 members by May 17th. Who's in? And we had 26 people say, I'm in, let's do it, let's get it. And now they're in a contest, and people are like, I called all my old leads, I'm gonna win this, I'm gonna get this. And everyone's like competing. What a culture, right? A culture of winning. And it equals great. And now they're posting their updates. Got 2 more today, who might be in, right? And everyone's like commenting. It's pretty cool. I don't have to be the guy. I don't even care to be the guy that teaches everything. I just had to create the community and let everyone kind of self-serve where it can be done at a much bigger impact. And it really all comes down to care. You know, I've noticed that in my life, I've been blessed. I've been blessed with coaches that really care, and I know how good it feels to have them in your corner. How many of you guys have people in your corner, and you know that's a good feeling, right? Why can't we be that, not just for random mentees that reach out to us, but why can't we be that for our actual best, especially our best clients, the ones that want it, that starve for it, right? And so for me, this is me actually out with 3 of my coaches. We all actually had to be in the same place. Billy and Vince flew out to Phoenix. We all went to a dinner and Suns game. We hung out. I don't know if you guys know Billie Jean and Vince. You guys know Billie Jean and Vince? Yep. So Vince spoke yesterday. Billie Jean speaks today in like 11:15. Definitely go see that one. And then Brad happened to be at the Suns game, and we all bumped into each other, and it was really cool. But all 3 of these guys, the cool thing is I truly believe that if I was in trouble, and I know this because I don't know this because I think. I know this because I've tested it. If I'm in trouble, I'll call these guys 8 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, and they know they can call me too, and they'll be like, dude, what's up? I got time for you. What's going on? And I wanted to be able to give that back. But rather than just give it back to random people, give it back to my best friends, right? The people that are helping my company the most, the people that I can help the most. I've, through Billy, gotten recommended to Cameron Harold, who I've now had as my coach. I got him in my corner, and it feels amazing. And Grant Cardone, I hired Grant, and I hired Russell Brunson, and all these guys I've got in my corner now. And so what I wanted to do was like, man, it feels good to have these people in my corner. How can I create so many people in my clients' corners? So now it can't just be me. I wanted to be able to get all the other top fitness studio owners, the cool kids, to be in their corners as well. Once you do that community, you're able to start having that happen, which is really great. When you're constantly learning, which is what I am blessed to be able to do now with all these coaches, you have an obligation to be able to give it all back. You have to. You can't keep it to yourself, because that's why you have it. Somebody gave it to you. And so that's ultimately what we've done, but it comes from the mindset of caring and helping, okay? I now not only help fitness studios, because I can not only empathize with fitness studios, but I can also empathize with myself 5 years ago, right? And so if you've been seeing GSD a lot, do you guys know what GSD stands for? Okay, good. I didn't know if you guys knew. So I've also got this program called Agency GSD, where it's set up for people to just really get helped out in the agency space. And it's a pretty cool program. If you guys want, you can go there and for free, if you guys just opt in Agency GSD right there, you'll actually get a free video lesson where I send you guys a bunch of really cool stuff on getting more clients and different strategies that we have to generate more business and grow your fitness studio and scale the thing up like we were able to do. Sound cool? Just go there whenever you want, it's free. So go back, it just comes down to those three things. Number one, build relationships with your best clients and learn from them. Make it a target to get more best friends and make your best friends the people that can really help you succeed in life the most and vice versa. Number two, create incredible, valuable resources for them and deliver it regularly. Right now you know them and what they want and need. Find ways to get them what they want and need. Even if you're not the guy, find a way to get the stuff. And number three, build a community so that the resources can compound without you. Without you having to get it all, it continues to compound more than you could ever done it as a one-man show. I can never post 6 times and all those ideas like those guys did in that 5-hour window. But they can as individuals collectively. Does that make sense? It will be work. Yes, it will be work. It'll be worth it. It won't take long. It took me about 1.5 years, 2 years before this started working. And that comes like that, right? You guys all know it. So next thing you know, it's going to be 2021, and it'd be kind of cool to have this. Would you guys think it'd be cool to be able to have something like this in your business? Working, and you have your clients being helped like this? So if you started today, in about 1.5 years, you could have this thing built up where it's growing on its own, right? It's worth it not just for you, it's worth it for your family, it's worth it for your clients, it's worth it for their clients because they're signing up more people, and they're helping more people as well. It's worth it for everyone. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys got value out of today. I know everything's really about advertising here, but I really wanted to show you guys how we're able to grow, retain, and keep. So thank you guys very much.